Batman issue 124. Joshua Williamson writing with Howard Porter on art. I mean, I didn't like.
It's not bad, right? It's just not good.
Well, I think what's weird about it to me is that it's a follow up to this character, you know, this Detective Kaya in Badnesia, who is now dressing up as Abyss. That's the plot of this: is that she's dressed up as Abyss. She's trying to track down the people who kidnapped and potentially killed her parents. Yeah. And I think my bigger problem with this is that it kind of felt like this wasn't. I felt this was out of character, and this is not a character who's been in that much. Like, but just from the few issues of Batman that Williamson himself wrote in the arc with Abyss, she didn't feel this, like, I don't want to say psychotic, but this Punisher-esque.
Yeah, and that's what I don't like. Like, her running around as Abyss makes no sense. Her looking for the people that killed or might have killed her parents, I like that because it does.
Oh no, yeah, I get her looking, but like, yeah, and I even get her dressing up as Abyss. The problem is her beating people to a pulp and like threatening them and saying, you know, and saying she's going to kill them. It felt a bit. I don't know, like, if you want to tell a story which is Bruce like not intervening because he has to let the person choose not to kill the person themselves, because otherwise they'll just keep trying. I was like, okay, that's an interesting idea, that he has to just sort of take it on a bit of a leap of faith that they're going to make the right choice. That's okay, that's interesting, because he believes in the person, he believes she's good. Okay, give her a chance. That's neat. And so what's funny is, so the issue starts with like a it's like a flashback, and it's meant to mirror the Waynes, right, where they're coming out of the theater, get to the alleyway, and you even see the pearls dropping. And I wasn't mad yet, because I was thinking, you know what, okay, as much as I don't need to see the Wayne's death again, and I'm sick of seeing the pearls drop, I don't mind similar events happening that are supposed to parallel or mirror or whatever. That's maybe overdone, but it's a narrative device that I can live with. Halfway through the issue, it gives us an actual flashback to Bruce's parents, and we see the pearls drop again, for real the second time. So then I get annoyed.
I've said this before. If I have to see pearls drop in an alley one more time, I'm gonna lose it.
So it's when he's talking to her about like his past and, you know, going after Joe Chill and all that. Yeah.
I don't care that if it's Fornes drawing it, I don't like it. All right. I love Fornes. We've been over this. One of my favorite working artists. I do not see the Waynes need to bite it again.
Yeah, also, I didn't even mention Fornes. He wasn't credited on League of Comic Geeks. That's my bad.
Oh yeah, no, he did the Bruce flashback where he's
no, I can see now that I'm looking at it. It's clearly different from Porter, because Porter's very, very scratchy and different.
Yeah, and the Kaya stuff. Even the movie playing was Mark of Zorro or Mask of Zorro. And I was like, this is too on the...
like, have it be another Vigilante movie so that it's kind of similar, but not the exact one.
But not the same one, you know? Or, you know, it's the... Let's ageify it. Make it like the Untouchables or something. I don't know. Like, about, you know, having to embrace darkness.
The Phantom, starring Billy Zane. That probably lines up time-wise.
Yeah, why not?
But he tries to talk her down. He says that, you know, he snuck into Arkham to like stare the man who killed his parents in the eye, and he turned away and blah blah blah. Yeah, like seeing the pearls drop again. Like, there's almost, like, I'm not saying there's not a single story where there's probably something that could be written that would justify seeing it again. I'm not saying that there's like absolutely no circumstance whatsoever. But I'm going to tell you now, 99 times out of 100 that it's done in a comic book where we see that alleyway again and we see the pearls drop, they didn't need to do it. And this is one of those times.
And for me too, it's up there with the destruction of Krypton. I don't need to see that either.
Sure. Yeah, because like, see, the thing is here is like, the important part of the story is that he's saying that when he came back from like traveling and training, that they'd caught the person who killed his parents, Joe Chill, had been arrested, had confessed. And it was about him going to see him, right? So there's a 9-panel grid on this page where it intercuts like him sneaking into Arkham, and like it swaps between that and the alleyway, you know, shooting, right? And I'm like, all you have to do to fix this is for the complaint I have right now is just don't do the flashback panels. Just have it all be him sneaking into Arkham. You can still tell what he's actually talking about is fine and not overdone. He's just talking about the first time he looked at the killer of his parents in the eye. right? Or almost did, because he sort of leaves before he...
Well, and it reminded me of Batman Begins, where we see Bale, you know, with the gun. He's going to do it, but he can't, ultimately. And, you know, the whole stuff with Rachel. I like... You know, that's a fine thematic element. And I like that it's here to show the difference with her. But, yeah. Just her dressing up as Abyss, too. That didn't go over well with me. And then the pearls again, and I don't know. It just to cap off Williamson's run, which I mostly enjoyed. I don't know, I just kind of felt like a...
I mean, I'll be honest, it's short enough that I wouldn't even really call it a run. It's more just like a... Because it was really just...
a stopover.
Well, it was really just the Abyss arc and the Robin Shadow War crossover. That's the whole thing.
Yeah, you're right. You're right.
So it's one arc and a crossover. And the crossover was more of a Robin story.
Right.
That was
I really enjoyed that one. Shadow War was fun.
Shadow War was mostly pretty fun, but that was mainly... I mean, obviously some Destro King stuff, but I would say by and large that really tied to Robin. Yeah. So, you know, it's not terrible. Ultimately, though, she decides not to kill the guy that they track down, but he confesses as to where the bodies are buried. So they find them, they arrest them, and the big thing at the end, I suppose, is that Batman gives her the Batman Inc. card, and whooshes away, classic Batman style.
Yep.
So, you know, that first arc, or the majority of this arc that took place before the crossover, suffered immensely from having 3 different artists, and 2 of them were great. And Howard Porter's not a bad artist, but he was so distinct from the other 2 that it was
I don't think he
jarring.
fits Batman very well.
No,
it's
I don't think he does either.
Too scratchy. Like, you can do shadowy, but his isn't really shadowy. I mean, I will say I do love the kineticness Howard Porter has.
That's why he's good in Flash typically.
Yeah.
Because the third artist, I can't remember the name, forgive me, but the third artist that was on the rest of this arc even made Yannen's pages look like a step down, because they were so good. Those Abyss pages were so amazing.
Yeah.
It's not as bad here, but like it is jarring going from Fornes back to Howard Porter, and it's like, oh, but Fornes.
Yeah. Now, Fornes has a style that is perfectly fit for Batman.
Especially Batman detective stories. Yeah.
Yep. So,
no denying that.
Yeah, this was just kind of a disappointment until the backup. So yeah.
Yeah. So that's the main story. The backup is a Poison Ivy story. It's actually a lead-in to the Poison Ivy book that started this week as well. And it was actually reading this that made me go, you know what? I'll just skip the Poison Ivy book.
Oh man.
It's not that it's bad. I just I read it and I like G. Wilson as a writer. You know, I've sung her praises many a time before. It just reaffirmed the idea that I don't really care about a Poison Ivy solo book.
Yeah, so if we can just get a good, definitive Ivy story, that'd be great, because I feel like she needs more of those. But I like this, and I didn't realize that, because we skipped those villain specials, and this is from a story in one of those that G. Wilson did, and it's basically Ivy can't connect to the Green anymore because of when they fused her with the Queen Ivy in her other aspect. It cut her off from the way that she used to be able to, and that she's turning back human. So I do like that aspect, that it, because she was forced to go through this change that she didn't want to. Yeah. Now she's gonna take it out on the world.
Well, it's not just that she's going to take it out in the world. She's going to try and get her powers back. She doesn't say who, but she says there's one person who can give me the powers back that I lost, and the gardener begs her not to do it. And that's basically what this backup is. It's just that decision. She's going to go and try and get her powers back from someone that she maybe shouldn't go to.
Which tells me it's either Swamp Thing and the Parliament, or it's Woodrow, right?
Yeah, would you say no, don't do that if it was Swamp Thing she meant? This feels like more severe than that.
Yeah, maybe. I'm thinking of, plant characters tied to... It could be someone completely new, too. Who knows? But those are the two that my brain went to. So I think in her newer origin with the gardener, Woodrow was involved, if I remember right. But no, I enjoyed that. I mean, I thought the backup was good and set the tone for the book that I was already excited for.
It wasn't bad. Like it's I get what it's doing. and it sets up the book. But it was kind of like I was kind of like, even though it was Wilson who I like, I was like, I don't know if I want to read a Poison Ivy book. And then I read this back and went, you know what, that confirms it. I don't want to.
Oh, dang.
So, all right, what are you giving the main story?
The main story, I'm giving a 6.
I was gonna say that's harsh, but then but it's because I'd forgotten what we talked about, and I was like, oh yeah, it's this book. I'll say a 6 as well. I think that's fair. I think that's a bit fair. All right. You can read the backup as well if you want.
The backup's a 7.5. It's just good enough. Got me excited for the main book.